What's up, men? Welcome to the Male Cartel podcast. Let's get started.
Do you think men are important? Like for what?
Men are not meant to be dominant. Men are meant to be submissive.
Life's too short to exercise. I'm just gonna be honest.
It's okay to be fat.
Dispelling toxic masculinity and really redefining what it means to be a man. Men can cry. So it's okay to be weak. It's okay to be weak.
I'm telling you right now, not everybody wants to see you win.
You seem to be more woman than you are man. You don't have any manly qualities.
You give them this message that it's okay to be a man.
It's not okay, it's necessary. How are we going to do without men? You look around the city here, you see all these buildings go up, these men, they're doing impossible things.
It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Be a dangerous man. Being dangerous is not being a threat. They're two different things. You can't be a good man if you're not a dangerous man. You say one disrespectful thing to my wife, I am not only willing, but I'm able to inflict great bodily damage.
I'm going to do everything in my power to become a victor and not a victim. I can't explain it, but you better feel me. Winners win and losers lose. I can't explain it any better than that. I don't know how it happens, but winners win. And if you create a culture of losing, if you keep being a victim, if you keep letting losing happen to you, if you keep letting people do you and treat you any kind of way, it's going to become a culture. What's the matter with you? There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Here's your host, Nick and Shane.
Welcome back, men. We're so grateful that you are joining us today for episode, I believe this is 46. 46.
46. It's almost my age. How old are you?
I'll be 45 in December.
Oh, yeah, we passed his age already. So, like, oh, man, we got a couple more episodes. Maybe 48, bro.
I've almost been married as long as I'm
been alive.
2 weeks, 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, where are you going on an anniversary trip? Can you say, like, over the air? Give us a state.
It's international. Well, we're flying to Miami, and then we're taking a cruise somewhere.
Okay.
I seriously have no idea where we're going. Nikki handled all that.
Yeah, but you said international.
We're taking a cruise. We had a pastor's retreat that I've shared before, Harvest, that got canceled. So we had already had a flight from the Dominican Republic to St. Thomas because we're going to spend a few days there for our actual anniversary after the retreat. The retreat's free. We just had to get there.
Okay.
And so
it was canceled.
It was canceled. They haven't told us.
Okay.
We're just trusting whatever it is. I mean, they just said they had to cancel it, and we've not heard anything. So, but we were able to change those flights to Miami so we don't have to drive, and then we're taking a cruise somewhere. So
let's go, dude.
I think the Bahamas is somewhere included, which I'm not a huge fan of the Bahamas. So we're doing an excursion this time. The last time we went to the Bahamas, a lady had a vest on that said, "How can I help you?" or whatever. Can I help you? And so I was thinking, and she may have still worked for the city or whatever, the government. And we needed to find something. And so I asked, and the lady stayed with us the entire time we were there. Ruined our trip. She ended up being a Jehovah's Witness and started trying to evangelize us. And so I told her, I said, "Ma'am, I'm a pastor of a Christian church. You're not going to convince me of your faith, and so you're just wasting your time." And then she goes from nice, like, if I make you miss your cruise, I would feel obligated to let you stay at my house, because we were telling her we got to get back to the cruise terminal. We're just trying to lose her. And she followed us the whole way. And so she went from, like, I would feel obligated to let you stay at my house, to going, "Ma'am, I'm a pastor. You're not going to convert me," to I'm going to have the blood of my people's the blood of my people on my hands if I don't lead them according to the Jehovah's Witness. It's so
wow.
It ruined our trip. So we went and got in the security line where she couldn't get, and she left, and we got out of the security line and spent a little bit more time near the terminal. And that was for our 10th anniversary. And I said, for now on, I would just say, ma'am, we're trying to enjoy our trip. Thank you so much for showing us where we needed to get, but we're going to part ways now. I'll be a little more direct. I was trying to be friendly, and that's what it gets you.
Nick has the best stories. Every trip he has a story.
Every trip.
It could be a car problem. It could be like him having to drive 18-wheeler. It could be something.
Well, my second cruise was from the Costa Rica. We've still not shared that whole story, but from being robbed in Costa Rica.
Yeah, Nick has the best stories. We haven't done, my wife and I have never done but one anniversary trip. And that's when we found out we were pregnant.
Is that why y'all quit taking
Pretty much had pregnant, and then after that, you're a ball on a budget, man. You ain't got no money, bro. It's like, hey, we're about to we'll scrounge up some money for a long time to go to Olive Garden, type of thing, which is authentic Italian atmosphere. It's about the only Italian atmosphere we can have.
Well, you could take her on a luxury vacation to Beach Island.
Beach Island, the island of the beaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I think, we can go to Martinez, which is Hispanic.
Yeah.
No,
one of those Latin countries.
I need to. Like, I know that we've been married for over 2 decades now, so we haven't done anything. So obviously we had cancer. So we actually, the day we got out of 20 years was the day they were releasing me from the hospital early this year with cancer. So after the surgery, so that we took a picture. We never posted it. I don't even think that my wife posted anything about anniversary, and neither did I. Obviously, I didn't post anything, but I know that she took a picture of it because we have it, and this was how we celebrated me getting released. And so, hopefully, and I would like to do something next year. I would really like to. We're so family oriented that my kids go everywhere. We don't do a whole lot of trips as a family or anything, so it's like I'd feel so guilty if my wife and I went somewhere, just us, and spent like to the beach. My kids love the beach. We don't go often. We could do 2 things a year, and that's it. So if I had to use money for one vacation trip or something, it takes away the family. So right now, but I'm really going to try to do a one night, because we left the kids before one night. So I'm thinking hard about in the next while. I have a free night that I have to burn up at the hotel. I'm not trying to do it just to burn up a free night, but I have a free night, so it ain't going to cost anything. But with my Marriott. So I've been looking at different dates and times and stuff that maybe this fall, because now I'm feeling better, but I can just surprise her and line up somebody to watch my kids.
Yeah.
And then I could just do something. So if you have any suggestions, feel free to reach out to us and give me a one-night stay. What can we do? And so it'll be something fun. I know what we can do, honestly, at night, but I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I got plans,
You got 3 kids. I think you got that figured out.
Yeah, we got it figured out, but something fun. So
yeah, and then you could even do something like go up to Columbia or even Atlanta if you got someone to watch the kids. We wanted to do something for our 20th, and of course that was 2020.
Yep.
So because early on you're celebrating your first year, and
that's right.
It's a bigger deal. Then you start having kids, and so it's less and less. It's more like can we get somebody to babysit the kids? We'll go for dinner. Right. And then we wanted to do something for our 20th because that is a big deal. But then COVID shut everything down. So didn't do anything. So then our 25th, that's a pretty big milestone, a quarter of a century that we've been married. And so we decided since we didn't get to do something on our 20th, we would do something on our 25th.
Do y'all usually get gifts for each other every anniversary?
No.
No.
I would love to. I love giving gifts, and
me too.
She doesn't. Normally it's like, let's put that towards something else, or so I'll usually get her like a gift card to Starbucks or something because she loves Starbucks. She's going to spend the money anyway, so it's a wash. But the thought goes into it.
Nick has a cheat code, bro. Cheat code alert.
Look, you just give it to her up front, put it in a card.
Yeah. Baby, I love you so much. Yeah, that's awesome. Cheat code alert. Yeah, We don't do that. My wife is so funny that she expects certain things. Everything's a big deal with my wife, man. Like she can make things for my children, much like Nikki. And anything we homeschool, so even like her doing math, she makes it a big deal. Most intentional, funnest experience. And if it doesn't work out, like she gets bummed. And so I think in her head, oftentimes she's very frugal, but she expects me to do something. So like my birthday one year, my Father's Day one year, I got her like an awesome necklace, spent hundreds of dollars. Like I saved up for this mug. And you know what I got that year? I got a cowboy hat and a pizza pan.
I'm not seeing you in a cowboy hat. I want to
know.
see this.
My kid's been wearing it.
Next episode, you got to come in with your cowboy hat.
They got me. Listen, I got a tie that sings, a cowboy hat, and a pizza pan. And I remember looking at it going, what in the world?
Imagine the reels you could make with those.
Now, but you know, when I look at stuff, which is funny, like I grew up where on Mother's Day, the children do things for the mother. The husbands never do anything because it's not their mom. It's their kids. And so the dad is always like pushing it. My granddad would push it to his children for the mom. My granddad never got my grandma anything. But he pushed his kids.
Yeah.
Even when they got older, you better get something for your mama. And that's how it was. And for us, Mother's Day, we would make breakfast. We didn't have no food. I mean, gosh, we would like make cards and do all this stuff for my mom. And Father's Day, we do the same thing with my dad. And I can't remember my dad ever getting a gift because we were just so poor. But we'd make cards, and then we would try to like make breakfast. The kids would do it. My dad loved that stuff. I mean, that's like me. My kids don't have to buy me anything. But if my kids was thoughtful enough to say when I woke up, they had me homemade cards, and then they gave me breakfast. That mean a lot to me.
Oh yeah.
The thought. I'm more big on a thought that counts. But if you spend money, so the pizza pan and the cowboy hat and the tie that sings, who paid for that? I did because I'm the one that worked, bro. So use my money to buy a cowboy hat, a tie that sings, and a pizza pan. Hold up. You just dropped. They dropped like $15 on a cowboy hat. I don't wear cowboy hats. I mean, it was like $50 worth of stuff. And I was like, it's sweet.
You gotta be a cheap cowboy hat because cowboy hats are expensive.
It was a cheap cowboy hat. Right. But like you're like,
have you used the pizza pan though?
We still use pizza. I think my wife just threw it away. But like, because it's just gotten old. But you're like, you spend $50 of my money to buy that stuff. Just make me some breakfast and make me a card. I ain't gonna spend no money.
We were so poor when we first got married. I took a regular round pan and drilled holes to make a pizza pan.
For the
they got the but I just drilled my own holes.
Really? Oh gosh!
Listen, it was cheaper.
That's it.
So
cheat code.
Do what you got to do.
Nick has all the cheat codes too, by the way.
You do what you got to do.
So what's on the agenda today? I know what it is. I'm just trying to say that for those who are listening.
Just for a transition.
That's my transition to Nick at that point.
Well, see, last episode we were going to share a meme, but we held off because really it fits with what we're going to talk about today.
Oh, yeah.
And so I saw this online, and I know you got a lot of heat for posting something about pastors and their weight and losing credibility. And we had some healthy discussion out of that, and everybody didn't necessarily agree with what we had to say, and sound like some listeners. And that's the benefit of this podcast. We have our thoughts. We may not always agree on everything, 100%. Although a lot of times we do, but it's okay to disagree.
That's right.
Like, we can disagree and still be friends. I disagree with my wife all the time, and we're still married, about to celebrate 25 years. So it's cool if you don't agree. We want to do it in the right spirit, in the right heart. But at the same time, we're pastors, so we have view of things. We're men, so we have view of things as well. We try to remain physically fit and healthy, so we have some view on some things. You may differ on that. That's cool. That's why we have comments, and that's why we engage conversation, because we want to hear from you. Yeah. And we'd love to hear from you. And this is important because it goes beyond fitness. There is fitness in here, but there's really a root behind this. It says, I knew school was a scam when my business teacher didn't own a business and my PE teacher was fat.
Yep.
What you think about that?
I saw that same meme before you sent that.
Usually we do. See,
we see it usually at the same time. It's crazy. 100%. I remember I had my teacher that was teaching me. We had a class, an early release class. It was a work class. I forgot what it's called, but I was a senior in high school. It was my first senior year. I had 2 of them. And I ended up, you learn how to do your taxes, and it was like an early release work thing. And so we had to come up with a business model, business class, I think it was called. And we were done with school at like 1:15. And so, and he was overweight. And he was not a businessman. And it didn't make a difference if he was overweight because he wasn't my PE teacher. But him not owning a business, he didn't really, it was just like really funny. And so we used to joke around, my buddies and I, just about him, that he was always like broke, and he was giving us advice. And he looks broke. He is broke. He complains about not having money. He'll say all this stuff. And then he's like teaching us business. And the whole time in your head, you're thinking, something is not congruent. Something's off. And I did have a PE teacher, which I thought was hilarious, that this year was, I had a PE teacher that was, and I had one that was a professional ex-football player, like NFL. And so what that, like if you're an athlete, you get the benefit of the doubt because you get bum knees and stuff like that, and you gain weight. And so you're like, oh man. But you could tell his body type that he was O-line. So they're going to be bigger.
Yeah.
But when we had a PE teacher, he said he was a wide receiver. And he was fast. He's like, it was probably no truth in it, but he'd say he ran like a 4.140 type of stuff. And so it was always like super funny and hilarious. This guy was always out of shape, always dogging you out, all that stuff. And you're like, and then at that time, I thought 40 was old. Now that I'm 48, I look back and go, he was about late 30s, 40, which to me was ancient. It was midlife.
Yeah.
So like you got like 20 years left and you're going to die. And so, because that's what I thought. And I remember thinking, still another situation when you go, I just don't know. It's kind of like our cosmetology person that was at our school. Hair always looked weird, but she's going to teach hair. And you're like, something ain't right about that. You know what I mean? So it's like if the mechanic's car is always breaking down, probably not a good mechanic. I'm just being honest. And so what do you think?
You get a lot of theory, but not reality.
That's right.
From people like that. And that, it's like even as a pastor, you can talk about what the scripture says until you have to live it. And it's so much different. And we'll talk about that in just a moment as well. But I had a guy, and my uncle is just retired from being a pastor over 30 years. And we got to celebrate that a few months ago. And now they've asked him in his denomination to become a church planting coach. Now, he has helped and been involved with church planting in Cuba, but that's totally different even in the United States. So the first thing he participated in, he told me, he's like, there's a lot I need to learn because I've not done church planting, at least in the United States. So I love the humility there and really understanding I need to learn some things because it's a little bit different than my experience. When I planted the church that I pastor, the guy, he's a great guy, but he had never planted a church. So there are certain limitations that puts on people because you can't tell me when the rubber hits the road in certain circumstances what to do because all you know is by the book and what the book says. So sure, you can teach people business, you can teach people physical education, but I do believe you lose some credibility when you've not done it yourself. And I do believe you're limited in what you can share and what you can teach people because you've not done it. You've never been there. And so, I think it's very important for a matter of integrity to have. Now, I also understand people they're kind of shorthanded on certain things. And so they're just trying to hire people. Yep. I spent some time in a small Christian school that wasn't accredited, and you had teachers who didn't even have degrees or they didn't even do something well, and yet they're grading your papers and trying to teach you,
Yep.
and then you wonder why some of those kids probably don't have an education. And so but they just needed teachers, so they would just kind of hire anyone. Yep. It's like, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I went to school where my dad was pastoring. Went back my late junior year and senior year to the school that I was at, the Christian school I was at before that. And we were so advanced where my dad was pastoring, we had classes straight from Bob Jones University through satellite. So we had college professors teaching us. It was through the TV. This was before internet, like streaming and all that. And you had little keypads, and you could call in to the teacher and talk to them. But you had a facilitator in the classroom. Well, those classes were so advanced, and even our normal classes that we had actual teachers was so advanced. When I went back to the other school, they were so far behind. This is like late high school, so far behind on their computer classes. I showed them what I was learning at the previous school and literally taught that class the rest of the year because the teacher didn't know. You know, they just had her basically filling in, taking a book, and trying to lead the material. So I think it's important that we have experience in what we're trying to, lead people in, but also to model it ourselves.
Yep.
And I think, if you're a physical ed teacher, because I would say the same thing to some of the college coaches and professional coaches, you're out there leading guys. Let's talk about Georgia Bulldogs, my own team. Kirby doesn't look like he's in the best of shape. Bobo definitely doesn't look like he's in the best of shape. Now, they may have physical issue I don't know about. Kirby was a player, Bobo was a player. So, you give grace when there's physical ailments. However, you're out there leading guys through drills and their own physical development, and you're not looking at yourself. So I think it's important, to lead the way and get out there and do it yourself. That's why I like Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of War now, who's track of the title. He's out there actually doing the PT with the guys, the push-ups, the runs. It's leading by example. And so I think that's important.
Yeah, I think there's always going to be shortcomings with that. If you don't, some kids are going to respond to stuff, and some people are going to respond like if you're there walking it out. If not, you better have some type of like credibility. But I think it definitely, I'm right there with you, would never limit you. That's why I loved all the sports shows that guys who they don't talk in absolutes from the standpoint that like this is what they should do as far as an athlete, like a Stephen A. Smith, or people who are like. Not to name drop anyone, but people who are in like sports broadcasting, if they're fine to broadcast because some of them have journal degrees and stuff like that, and so this is their job. They can have credibility in that. However, if you give an absolute about what a player should do from a physical, and I love it when they have an athlete that played professionally on that saying this is how it was when you're with a professional team. Right. They give them the insight. Now, then I don't like if they give insight that's more broadcasting because they sound like oftentimes they'll contradict themselves. With the broadcasting person, may not contradict themselves because they have trained in communicating. But if that athlete goes and learns, that's why you see some players that are like makes a really good broadcast and they make a really good perspective from a player. They have like the dynamic. Yeah. You've seen before, like we've seen. There's some athletes that like you probably shouldn't talk unless you're just given the perspective from a player perspective. Other than that, you have no business talking because you have not learned anything to how to communicate. And not to pick on it. Well, I'm not going to say who I have problems with, but anywho, but you guys get it, man. It's all called. It comes down to credibility and character, and be who you say you are.
And
for sure.
And we saw that here recently. I'm going to play this. Video clip. We'll put the video on YouTube, but the audio will play here. And this is a dad. Many people may have already seen this. I don't think you had seen it till I sent it to you. So there's probably some that haven't. But this was a delivery lady who made a mistake. A dad answers the door. He ends up, I've heard he's a pastor, but just love his example that he sets for his kids. And that's really what we're talking about is leading by example. And we're not always going to know every issue of life, but we need to be constant students ourselves to learn, but we don't need to be the parent that tells our kids not to cuss while we're cursing them out.
100%, dude.
Or y'all don't smoke, but here I am,
right.
chain smoking. So y'all listen to this and then we'll respond.
Okay, Neil. Okay. Yeah. Neil, I'm sorry. I'm getting old. I saw 67. It's not 67 or 57. You were number 67. So 57, 67. I screwed up. I'm sorry. I'm on my way back to get it right now. I will bring it back.
I think we can make it work. And hey, and don't for 1 second feel bad.
Well,
We love you, and Jesus loves you, and we hope you have a great night. Don't feel bad for 1 second. We're having a great night.
Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome. You're very much loved. You know that. Do you know Jesus?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you living for Jesus?
I'm just struggling
Oh,
because
yeah.
things have been pretty difficult
Hey,
lately. So.
girls, come here. We're going to pray for this really nice lady. What's your name?
My name's Susanna.
Oh, Susanna.
Yeah.
I'm Neil.
Come on,
Hey, girls. Do you love this lady right here?
Yes.
Let's pray for her. Here, put it. Can I put my hand on your
Yes,
shoulder?
amen,
And Evelyn, if you want to come over.
Yeah.
And your name one more time?
Susanna.
Susanna. Jesus, we thank you for Susanna. And Lord, I thank you that we cross paths tonight. In fact, Lord, she's more important than any of these orders tonight because you matter to her and she matters to us. Lord, I just pray you would bless her. I pray that you would open the windows of heaven over her and bring any healing she needs to her body in the name of Jesus, any financial need to her, Lord, and God, that she would encounter you and live for you and follow you in everything she has. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Hey, have a great night.
You.
Bless you.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thanks, girl.
Take care.
So when I heard that, when you showed it to me, I immediately, my mind went to some good, I'm going to say brothers, I'm going to say friends, some good brothers I know their lean-to would do the same thing. Like they would do the same exact thing. And I've seen it do the same exact thing. I've seen, and obviously you are one of them. I feel like I think we've talked about Jacob before, Jacob Dorn. We've mentioned him several times in the podcast. It definitely seems like something Jacob would do. And Jacob is a justice guy too. You know, he's a big security, detailed, ex-military, and just a man's man. And definitely, what his posture is definitely to care for people. And so he definitely would do that. I mean, I got some other brothers that would do the same thing. And immediately, we've had that same thing happen to our orders at restaurants and stuff like that. And when somebody comes to bring it, and I see that they are very stressed, and and we just like love on them like crazy, and we don't even, we've done that several times. And then, and I do want to say, there has been many times as well where somebody's coming very angry towards us, aggressive, and you're trying to like be sweet about it and be Jesus about it, and then I have to be firm about it, about like them getting my order right, because they're treating, people either who I'm with or my family in a certain way, and I'm having to be firm with them.
Yeah.
I still do it in love, but having to be super firm with it. So oftentimes people mess up orders. I have not been, while they have been off the chain on me, I haven't been like, it's okay to them. But there's been so many times where I've seen people immediately stress out, very upset, especially when they mess the order up. And then you just love them like Jesus. So I just saw that. It made me think of several different things just about the person's life and the pastor. Like he probably practices what he preaches. He's man of character and integrity. He leads his home well. You can tell it's all like Jesus central. We don't know if it was always like that or whether, it said that he was a pastor, I believe. But I'll be honest, I know more pastors jacked up than I do regular Christians. And so I can think of a handful of people, as much as I look there, I can think of a handful of my pastor friends who are my friends who would be the opposite of that. They would want it to be corrected then, and then once it's corrected, then they would show grace. But they're all about justice, And so, but I just love that brings a lot of encouragement to me. What do you think?
What I loved most was he called his daughters out. He could have just said,
"Oh yeah.
You mind if I pray for you?" But to call his children out, not only to participate but to learn from that. And I've shared, I don't know if I've shared it here, but I'm sure I have. But how my mom, I think I might have even with my dad's episode 7, where we interviewed my dad, and I shared how my mom, like, she would set the example for us when she would see someone in need or a homeless person. She started looking around the van to see what we had. And when I'm growing and, still learning, I had a pair of tube socks with the colored bands at the top that I hated, absolutely hated them. And so I remember we were at the Eckerd on between 15th Street and Walton Way, downtown Augusta. We pull into that Eckerd parking lot. There is a homeless individual there. And my mom's looking around the van and she sees those socks and she tells me to hand them to her. I hated these socks, but they were mine. So there was that greed that kind of welled up, and I was like, no, these are mine. And she ended up giving them, we can get you some other socks. And so she gave them to the guy. And I look back now and go, you can see the greed in you, but your mom's leading and teaching you. And that's what I love about seeing what this guy was doing. And like you said, yes, he's a pastor. How would that have looked if there was another camera or maybe she's wearing some kind of camera or something, but he's out in public and he blew up on her. It was in a restaurant or something. Pastor blows up.
That's good.
So he's actually setting the example of what people complain about. So just the fact that he's a pastor actually goes a step beyond to show he's not the business teacher that's the guy that doesn't own a business teaching business. He is the pastor who is probably telling his congregation to live a certain way, and here he's doing it as well. And so I think that's good because it shows not only is he leading his children well, but he's also leading his congregation well and by example. Because you're right, in those moments, we've all responded in different ways. And he may go, look, I've gotten it wrong before, but I've grown. And so I just love the fact that they called their kids out and included them because now that's a new generation that sees a different way of treating people. And instead of blowing up, hey, is there something we can pray for you about? Is there some way we can care for you? And it's not just about getting a refund or getting a new order or whatever. So,
hey, Mama Carnes, if you listen to this podcast, or Papa Carnes, the OG, you can relay this to your wife or Nick. You can certainly talk to your moms. But as you mentioned that she sees people in need. Well, I can't eat food all that good, but she makes the greatest sweet potato.
Yeah, she does.
Casserole. And so I can certainly eat that.
You
and
need
I'm
some
in
fattening
need.
up.
And I'm in need. So our brother's in need.
The brother's in need. And it is
socks.
that season. She makes it. Okay. Thanksgiving's coming up and also.
So I don't need tube socks, but some sweet potato casserole sounds just about perfect. So.
I'm going to share this clip with her because you do need some fattening up. So
we need to cut this part and put it on the reel.
Well, we should probably send this to Daddy Mike too because he made those good wings.
He did, man. What's up with that? Now this is what I did with wings the other day because Miss Pam Wilkins, who's been listening to our podcast, I don't know if you've seen her, but posted stuff on social media. But she's been posting some social media stuff. She's went through cancer as well.
Okay,
and so she's gone through chemo, radiation treatments, and all that. She's just a few months ahead of me, and she goes to our church. And so she's been posting stuff. So Miss Pam, we love you. But her husband
love
made
you, Miss Pam.
Wings.
I don't know you, but I love you.
Her husband made some wings, and this is what I did with it. I cut the wing, took the meat off the bone, and chopped it real fine.
So I was going to ask if you
And then I can eat it on the side of my mouth and not use my tongue. I can't use my tongue, but I did it, and dude, it tasted amazing. And so I was like, I never in my life took meat off a bone and chopped it up, but I did it to eat it. So, and I can, I have to chew without using my tongue, and so which is tough. And so, but I did
get some taste back.
Yeah, I got 50% of my taste back. Good. So, but anywho's.
All right, I'll pass the word to Mom.
I'm down with that.
Last thing before we close out, did you see the story there with Aaron Spencer talking about dads leading the way? He is the dad that was charged. His 14-year-old daughter was allegedly raped by a man, and so he took care of business himself because the legal system where he's from failed and let the man out, and on like low bail and all this stuff. And so the dad murdered him or killed him.
Yep.
I don't know how all that went down. And so he's now out on bail, but he is running for sheriff of his town. What's your thought on that?
The post, he's talking about, it's a New York Post article, and it's from October 13th. So if you're wondering, you can go to New York Post and track to October 13th. I love it, man, because I've seen it fail myself, and so I love it that he's putting his money where his mouth is. He's not just saying, well, it should be fixed, and then do a whole protest and get some signs and go stand on the street corners, but actually want to change it, you know? And so that's a big pet peeve of mine. People always want to do the easy road, and he's wanting to take the hard road, you know? Biblically, it's a narrow road. And so the Christian life will be a rough life. And so it's not going to be the easy paved road. It's more like a dirt road, you know? So for this guy, he's choosing to do the hard things. And I love it. I don't know what I would do if somebody did something to my daughter. I would probably more than likely, whether it's fair or unfair, I'd probably be just like him.
Yeah.
So, just to be honest. So, and my first thought, Jesus can do anything. He can take the wheel. But right now, it'd be me taking the wheel. But yeah, what do you think?
Well, and I want to read this part of the article because it shines a little bit of light on that
go for it.
Confrontation. It said that, and of course these ads have to pop up when I want to read it. The day of the incident, Spencer reported to the police that his daughter was missing. As police were on their way to Spencer's home, Spencer found his daughter in a vehicle with Fossler. Fossler was the one that, was killed. Fossler had a no contact order because he had stalked and raped the 14-year-old. Spencer then allegedly shot and killed Fossler. Well, you know how the guns are the ones that usually do it. So maybe it wasn't the dad. Maybe it was just the gun, did it.
Went off.
Spencer then allegedly shot and killed Fossler after a confrontation between the two men arose. The child's mother had thought Fossler might be trying to kill her daughter because he was wanted for a possible 6 to 9 felonies, and her daughter was the only witness. So you find your 14-year-old daughter who had already been stalked and raped in the vehicle with a 60, I think he was 67 years old. Yes, 67 years old. The fact that there was a confrontation before he got shot is probably grace in and of itself. So it's not just like he stalked the guy down after he got out of, jail on bail and decided to kill the guy. The daughter was with him after being missing in his car when he found him. So I'm 100%.
That's right.
Dad is in the right. He's justified.
100%.
And I love the fact that he is not just online, running his mouth, trying to raise money, doing what all these people do. Has anybody ever changed anything with a change.org petition?
Nope.
I don't think so. So he's not just doing pointless stuff, but he decided, hey, I believe this system is corrupted, and so therefore I'm going to run for sheriff to change the way things are done. Now, of course, he's got to deal with prosecutors and all that type stuff. Just because someone gets arrested doesn't mean they're prosecuted. That's a whole nother system. However, I love what he's doing because he can bring the change that he believes needs to be changed. I think we can all learn from that.
Oh, 1,000. I'm right there with you, bro. Yeah, that shed a lot more light to the subject. I still stand by me. I still would probably pop a cap in, old boy.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't pop a cap. I probably use my hands.
Yeah.
So
learn to be a dangerous man, be capable to do what you need to do with your hands, but also get a gun, not just a BB gun. Shane have to do something with his hands because he's got a BB gun. He'd take his eyes out. But go target shoot. Don't just have a gun, but go learn how to use it.
Yep. Well, I think that wraps it up. If you're wondering what we're wearing, it'll be Nicholas with an awesome Male Cartel hat and an awesome T-shirt. And what you could do is you could buy you a hat, get you a cool shirt, and then buy you a hoodie that I'm wearing because it's fall, and wear all three and be swagged out with Male Cartel. You can actually, if you wanted to purchase that, you can go to our website, malecartel.org.
.com.
Why did I say .org? Because you just said change.org. That's why you messed me up. And then there's a clicking button up there. You can click that and you can order all the stuff. There's one flat fee for the shipping, and so hope you'd be swagged out with us. And if you do, I'd love to see some pictures. Maybe take a picture of yourself and send it to us.
Tag us in
something on the line, if you will. But if this was beneficial to you and you enjoyed it, share it with your friends and all that. And like we always say, get 1% better.
Get 1% better. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining the Male Cartel podcast. Be sure to subscribe and share to help other men join the cartel. You can also keep up with us on social media and at malecartel.com.